here in Montana. Not this dreary, but it's not really dreary because the grass grew from the dreariness because the snow fell down and the snow made my grass greener. So what we don't like certainly benefits other living things sometimes, right? But let a man control it. He'll turn the rain off, and then you'll all die. He'll turn the rain off so he can go play golf or whatever he wants to do. My wife asked me why do I sometimes get passionate when I speak truth and do videos on Facebook. And I told her, I said, well, everybody has this vision in their head of a saint or God's people being these passive, weak, talking really, really low like this. And everybody thinks God's people, like this. I don't wanna hurt nobody. I don't wanna cause no conflict. So all you devils speaking lies, I'm gonna back up so y'all can speak louder. Because that's what y'all do. Y'all wanna speak over me with my truth. And I'm gonna go back into my hole and stay there and memorize some more Bible. I'm gonna memorize some more Bible verses. Then I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna try to say them to you while you're screaming the lies. You're forcing the lies. You're killing me, my people, over the lies. So at some point, because I ain't Gandhi, be real clear on that. I'm me. And I don't know Gandhi. He was a lawyer first. Apparently he wasn't crazy about African people. Because he came from a culture that wasn't. I still love Gandhi. He can't make me hate him because he showed me who he was. And any ignorance in his soul, he'll deal with it in time. Sometimes that's all that's required. Just be don't always be afraid to show people your soul, who you really are. Because everybody out here is like the Greeks said persona. The word persona from the Greeks means mask, personality, persona. So the Greeks thought everyone was wearing a mask. That's why in theater they would put the mask on. It's true. Everybody does wear a mask. That's basic psychology. The mask is given to you by your parents, society. Oh, the children are the truth. What's up, Edward? Namaste, brother. Namaste. Some of my friends are zealots. Like they believe that just what's written in the Bible is the only truth on the planet Earth. And they always want to talk about their saints uh, saying something that is the pretty much equivalent to American law that's written in the Constitution. Like it can't be broken. This is what our saints said. It's the truth. And then I just laugh inside. I just laugh. Peace to you, Edward. Because I know I'm talking to children when that happens. I'm talking to children. We might as well whoop our Johnsons out and put them on the table and see who's is bigger. Because that's what you're doing. You're so afraid of life and death that you have to convince yourself 100% that you found the truth. Because really, what you're doing is you're lacking and you're covering it up. And people of true wisdom like me see right through that shit. I see through it like fucking glass. I don't even comment on it anymore because I see through it so easily. It takes me zero effort to see through it. You know why? Because I've investigated. Here it comes, people. That nasty thing nobody wants to know. I've investigated my own self for a long time. I looked into my own mind for a whole lot of time. And I've discovered some things about the human creature, not from looking at you, not from listening to you, from doing what I was told to do by the ancients. What did it say over the Greek temples? Know thyself. Where do you think they got that from? People in the African continent that all the Greek philosophers studied with. Pythagoras, after a period of time, entered the mystery schools, learned, came out, and all y'all know about Pythagoras is this: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Thank you, Pythagoras. Ignorant fucking population. That's what we have. Why don't the schools teach what Pythagoras really knew? Pythagoras knew metaphysics. He knew about the nature of existence. He knew about musical notes. He knew what our African ancestors passed down. But God forbid you teach that in school. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know Pythagoras. I do have a sense of humor, as quiet as it's kept. And I can laugh at myself, first and foremost. Image. Image is something that your mind produces based on the five senses. It produces a facsimile of the thing that it's trying to remember. Image requires memory. If there's no memory, there's no image. Because the thing you saw happened in the past. Whatever you're looking at right now, it's in the past. You know why I can say that? Because the light takes time to bounce off of an object into your retina, go through the optic chiasm into the occipital lobe of your brain, produce an upside down image that the brain inverts to right side. So actually, human beings see everything upside down. The brain flips the image back up. And you're seeing things in the past. The only thing that you can know in real time is yourself. Woo! Hot damn. That boy better go get a book of philosophy and write that shit down in it, son. We carry residual. You remember when Neo entered the Matrix? Remember what when Neo entered the Matrix? What uh what he was told? He said, "Them clothes you wearing, that's called residual self-image. That's what you think about yourself." And if he added to it, Morpheus told him that. Couldn't remember the word Morpheus. Bear with me, I'm still recovering from brain assault. I'm like just a tiny little bit slower, a fraction of a second than I was before I died. No, we don't lose it. It's memory. The universe has memory. We are an extension of the universe. Therefore, we have memory. That memory is not this reality. The closest thing you will come to reality is being in this moment. The closest thing you have to being in this moment is your own thoughts and your own being. So the closer you get to understanding your own thoughts and your own being, the closer you get to the truth. Everything else is lagging. It's lagging. It requires you to make up stories. It requires your five senses to do some hocus pocus magic and convince you that those swirling electrons and protons is a real thing that's going to last forever. That's why look, you should be able to discern basic truth if you are an advanced soul and not still on Similac. If you still on Similac, I understand. Go pop the breast, go pop the breast in your mouth and suck the milk, and then we'll back it up with Similac. That's where most of y'all are still at. But after you graduate from the Similac and start drinking tap water, then we can have a conversation. like two philosophers, two saints, two learned men, two eternal souls that have no beginning and no end. Because we know who we are to a degree. It's just the problem when you live in pop society and things get so dumbed down, people have to go to the book. They have to go to the book. Because the book is to remind you of what you already knew before you dumb yourself down and became ignorant of your own choice. Adam and Eve, give me the apple. Let me bite it. I want to be ignorant of absolute reality. You want to experience relative reality. Relative reality requires an enormous dumbing down of the human organism, the human faculties, to the degree of which the universe has never seen before, nor it itself will ever experience. But it has to patiently sit back in its timeless state and enjoy the show. That's what it is. That's what it is. I told my wife, I said, I don't need any book to tell me truth. I said, I'll go sit in the yard and look at the ground and watch the bugs crawl across the ground. I can get as much truth as I can, you know. But that type of person has cultivated themselves and looked inside themselves, unbiased, unbiased. In other words, certain persons on this planet Earth, souls, old souls, have been looking at themselves and their mind for undetermined periods of time. That's how ancient the mind is and how deep, because the mind is an extension of this universe. And after a certain period of time, these souls come to the understanding that they are not what they thought they were. We call them saints, bodhisattvas, and all kinds of other names for them. They're just people who finally saw the truth about the nature of our existence. That's it. That's it. They see through all the veils and all the archetypes. They see through the images because the image is not the thing, right? The image is not the thing. Not without the connection that connects us. For the image to be the thing, it requires a connection between me and this universe that is unbroken and is receiving and sending simultaneously, constantly. Then I recognize the connection between the image and the thing. Otherwise, the image to you is real. That's called ignorance. And ignorance is not a bad word. I'm ignorant of certain things. I'm ignorant of certain things. I don't know a lot of stuff, but I recognize my own ignorance in each moment. And I'm actively engaged with it, challenging it actively, challenging my emotions in each moment, challenging what my eyes give me in each moment, what my nose smells, what my hand feels, what my heart thinks is truth. It's got to be true because it's in my heart. You don't know your heart, so shut up and learn to listen with your heart. Then you'll know your heart, right? Truth requires a certain power of observation, which requires a certain egolessness. This is what our ancestors tried to teach us. It's a little bit more clear in the Eastern teachings. I'll just be honest with you. But Christianity came from the East. It came from the East. And so when we engage in anything, and I do mean that word, anything, we have to have the eyes of truth upon it. Or what we get is a facsimile and a falsehood, a fake image that has an infinite amount of information available about it, but we see that much of it. Because if you see the whole thing, that's the truth. Me, probably next year, Mayo Clinic. will probably put those robotic arms on me and fix me up, God willing. If not, I'll be dead again. Whatever his will is, her will, its will is. But that was the plan from the very beginning until COVID messed up all of my plans. I wasn't going to go to Mayo Clinic with COVID running rampant and try to have a surgery. I wasn't going to do it. No way, man. So that's the plan. It's always been the plan for like 40, 50 years of my life. Just that, man, you make plans and then life happens. Clinic, the clinic's pretty much done. Just got to do the dirty work now. Got to hire people. Got to buy equipment. I've been running clinics my whole life, man. When I was in the army, I was a medic. I was 17 years old. I ran a battalion aid station when I was a private. I was a pre-med student. That's a clinic. It's a military clinic. A battalion aid station is a military clinic. And when I became a sergeant, I ran it. Everybody knew that I was in the medical field and I was going to be a doctor. The PAs worked closely with me because they also knew that I was going to be a doctor in the future. And most of running a clinic nowadays, that's the pain in the ass part, is the insurance. It's playing the game of Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, what they want you to do, have, and how long they take to pay you. My clinic is going to be a cash clinic, uh, but I will accept slowly certain insurances. In the beginning, I'm going to focus on Medicare and Medicaid because those are the two most popular insurances. And then over time, as my manpower increases and my time increases, I might include Blue Cross, Blue Shield, some of the other insurances. But my health care prescription. What do you mean by that? I don't understand what you're saying. What's your health care prescription? A prescription is something I write on a piece of paper and tell you what to take to get over your illness. So when you say health, what's my health care prescription? You confuse me with those words, my friend. And I noticed, like, when you tell people truth and you raise your voice a little bit, they get, oh my God, the angry black man. Like, no, it's just the truth. Were y'all angry when y'all went over to my ancestors and took the Greek philosophy that was African, or when y'all went to the Aboriginals and killed them and took what they had? Or did you do it with? Was it done with a low voice and quiet, real quiet? Most evil deeds are probably done in quiet. I would say. I would say the snake is a representative of that. But we got it opposite in the West. We think the person that's talking loudly is always speaking truth. So you play that game sometimes. Regiment. You're asking some whether you know it or not, because I said I'm a physician, okay? You're asking some pretty broad based questions. I mean, put it like this. If you're doing the right thing all the time, you don't have to change anything. So for me, myself personally, nothing changed. I still work out. I still eat mostly vegetable diet. I still engage in insight and meditation on a daily basis. But if you ask me for other people, then that's specific to the person, right? Each person has a certain need, and I would base their healthcare regimen based on their lifestyle, their health problems. My problems are congenital. My mother's side of the family has a gene for a bad heart valve, and there ain't a damn thing I can do about it. It's probably 100 people on her side of the family. Right now, there's probably 20 or 30 that have the same gene, and they have the heart valve problems. Mine just manifests a little bit more aggressively than theirs, and nobody knows what triggered it. Nobody knows. We'll never know. Not until we become enlightened and can look back at history. Oh, it was the moon in certain phase, and the water you drank that had a little bit too much magnesium that made the polarity of the neurons in your SA node and AB node. Oh, okay. You see how complex this gets? Because most of y'all don't understand the electrical activity of the heart. We studied that. So I can tell you it gets extremely complex. It involves sodium, potassium, calcium, currents, electrical currents, like the ones in your house. Your heart has to have a constant electrical current at all times, or you will die. And for some reason, mine short circuited for a brief second. And my friend said, actually, what happened with me was my heart slowed down. It started slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. He said I eased myself to the ground. I didn't fall to the ground. So I don't know how I got this. Because according to the nurse, the Navy corpsman slash nurse that helped me, he said I eased myself to the ground. He said I said, oh shit. And then probably I laid down. So that's that's the story. It's kind of funny that I heard about when I went out. So, man, look, I understand each person is at a certain level, but just be honest. Those of you that are older and wiser and have studied this, at times, do you not get frustrated by talking to babies and children all the time? Because that's all you're doing. You know I'm telling the truth. You're engaging babies and children and immaturity like constantly. You're constantly asked to deal with that. And people think it doesn't frustrate the people doing the work. So sometimes I'm the voice of the frustrated people doing the work because we need a voice. I try not to hurt nobody's feelings, but I understand that's impossible. But everybody has their feelings. They wear them on their wrist, on their shirt. And last I checked, when I read the Bible, speaking truth won't make you any friends. It'll get you hung on a cross, nailed to it, and murdered. So I already know what to expect, and I already died. So I have nothing to lose. So when I speak, trust me, you're gonna hear mostly undis, un, untainted truth coming from a person like me. I already died. Trust me, it's painless, man. Painless. If you're righteous, man, probably painless. It's just like going to sleep. That's it, man. The only fear you may have is, where am I at? Oh, look, there's some relatives. Can y'all tell me where I'm at? You're dead. Oh shit, really? What do I do now? You need to go down to hell. You you can go up to the nirvana for a little while. You want to stay here and be a saint? Okay. We got some other houses over here in my father's kingdom if y'all want to go to them. Infinite number. Blissful gardens, libraries. One time I had a dream I went to a library in heaven and I was floating around the stacks like this. I've had some amazing experiences in my life, man, that have broadened my consciousness to the point where it's difficult to have these third grade conversations. There you go, Ed. Truth is an offense to those who don't want their lives read by the word. First, there was the word. Thank you. No vibration, no relative reality. First, there was the vibration. First, there was the word. But it has to be interpreted properly. If I hit a middle C and you telling me it's a D, and we try to play a song together, it's gonna sound discordant, right? It's gonna sound discordant because the frequencies are destructive to each other. But destruction is a part of this universe. This universe goes through cycles of destruction, creation, and annihilation. And I told you guys when I studied particle physics at Stanford, I learned the term creation and annihilation operators. There's a mathematical operation you learn in particle physics that will create a particle and will get rid of a particle. So it's funny that the atheist scientists who run your universities know the cosmic truth is written in their code. It's written into their language. They may not express it the same way you do, but they know it actually better than you do. They know the physics behind it, the mathematics, the way the planets move. They know all of that. And they still create slavery. They create want and need. So y'all don't understand the level the evil really operates on. Evil is a little bit smarter than most people give it credit for. It's at least as smart as goodness because they're two poles of the same thing. So they have what the essence of each other in them, right? And the best of the best when it comes to evil will take 99.9999% truth in that 100 trillionth of a degree that is off. That's what makes it evil. That's how subtle it gets. That's why I was reading yesterday that as you study spirituality, you need to start dealing with the more subtle aspects of your nature. A lot of y'all don't want to do that. You want to look in the mirror and deal with that. You don't want to go inside your mind in meditation or hypnosis or prayer and go around the dark corners, go through the corridors that lead to what? The boogeyman? My friend was trying to quote Bible verses to me today on Facebook. And I said, you know the problem most people, I said, is that they're afraid of the boogeyman. So they need some assurity. So they memorize Bible verses. I know the Bible, but I don't memorize Bible verses. Some of y'all probably have noticed that I know the Bible, but I don't memorize Bible verses. So guess what? I know medicine, but I did memorize Grey's Anatomy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I know chemistry, but I did memorize the chemistry books from college. Oh my goodness. Is there some wisdom in those words that I just said? Oh, better stop, boy. You better stop, boy. They might send an inquisition to your house and burn it down. Truth is written in here. It's written in here. And these talk to each other. If you teach them to, they talk to each other whether you want them to or not. The heart and the mind. So when you learn to participate in that conversation, you learn to speak a language that's not of this earth. If I was a Baptist preacher, I would say, "Can I get a witness?" But to speak the language that's not of this earth requires a different type of training, a different type of dictionary. The whole of existence is your school. That's why the Buddhists know you can take vows without being at a church. I could take the Bodhisattva vow in the privacy of my own home. I know if my heart is in the right place. I know if my mind is in the right place. I know better than anybody on planet Earth. So who's gonna tell me when I'm ready for a vow? Teacher can assist, and certain teachers can see your heart. They can assist you, but ultimately, you know where you're at. You know what you're ready for. The point of the gurus and the teachers is sometimes to bring to our attention that we're either lacking in certain areas or we're proficient in this area, but we're lacking in this area. Everybody lacks in some area. Let me be real clear on that. We all lack in certain areas. But there's a basic wisdom about how this universe operates that if people don't have it, they will constantly come up with the wrong answers. The truth of emptiness, the truth of relative dependent co-arising. These are basic truths of the universe. The truths of life and death being two sides of the same coin. They're being interrelated, interlinked in such a way that they could be each other. Dying could be being born, and being born could be dying. That's how deep the rabbit hole really goes. But it's a beautiful rabbit hole, and it keeps the mind occupied for eternity because it says somewhere that when I look at the face of God, every time I look, I see something different. And so I can praise Him even more. He, she, it. Well, look around you. That's the face of God. I swear I get frustrated, and I understand that I'm immature. I'm immature as a spiritual teacher because a lot of times I want to slap people in the face and say, "Wake up." That's what I want to do. I want to grab them by the neck and say, "Do you need me to say this a different way?" That's what I want to do. And I understand why my algebra calculus teacher in high school, he was a black man. I told you I went to medical school with his daughter. He would get so mad, he would scream, and everybody in the hallway of my magnet school, every classroom in the hallway, oh, Mr. Scott, that done pissed him off. They would hear him yell. He would throw the chalk across the room, and it would explode on the blackboard. That was my math teacher. I went to medical school with his daughter. And now I understand why that wise man would get frustrated. And I understand where he was lacking because I'm lacking in the same area. It's called patience for ignorance. Is what it's called. He saw some of the ignorance was just willful. He's seen students in his classroom would go home, not open the book, and have the nerve to come back and sit in the classroom and try to participate. Okay, some of y'all have not opened the book up, read it, studied it, and you got the nerve to want to participate in the classroom, right? At least read the book. I ain't saying you're a slave to the book, but you got to read the book before you can say anything about the book. You got to know the book, internalize the book. There's a saying in jazz music: before you can break the rules, and in martial arts, you have to perfect the rules, like become a perfect student of the rules. And then after that point, the insights about where the rules are lacking will come. But you don't try to teach a newborn baby that at the mama's womb. Let's go try. Let's go talk to my daughter over here in the corner. Let's go talk to her. Certainty principle. Do you think that the delta P or the delta M is actually interchangeable? What do you think about that? That's what I thought. Exactly. The camera won't flip. There we go. The camera wouldn't flip. So that's generally the conversation most of the world is having. That conversation that you just saw me have. And that's the general response. That woeing and crying, right? Because that's I need something that I don't really understand, but I'm uncomfortable. So wow. It says the signal is poor. I don't know why it's on Wi-Fi. I need to put it on Wi-Fi. Let me see. Hold on a second.